Hi there, I'm Cesar DeCall Jr. and welcome to Monster Month, Preview 3. So yesterday we had a look at hands, we had a look at arms, we had a look at how to dress the wire itself so that it gave something for the clay to cling on to. Let's have a look at continuing down the actual legs, the length of the tail and torso, and then we'll actually get this into a block of wood so that it's freestanding, and then we can actually start thinking about posing and whatnot, which I think is kind of where we all want to be, right? So with the legs, what I like to do is I basically like to start at one of the ends, and I know I'm going to glue this in, so all I do is I basically find the edge of one of them and then hold on to it and then start wrapping that wire around. And then I have to hold on to it for a little bit while it bites, but then once it kind of bites onto that, you can let go and then continue wrapping your character. So whatever works for you. You know, everybody's got different ways of doing things. Again, I'm just kind of sharing the way that I've done it, well, forever, and the way I like it, because I just find that it's super quick, and really what this kind of allows me to do, which I didn't show, but I can kind of still show, I think. I can't because I've anchored it there, but before I anchored it there, you can kind of see how I can see all those, see over here, see how these kind of slide up and down. So this kind of construct really allows for me to stretch out and you know, really kind of play around with this length here in the torso, which I really like. I like to do that a lot, actually, because I'm a proponent that all measurements, anatomical measurements, can be basically explained from the rib cage. And what I mean by that is that basically I'm going to wrap this up. I'm not going to go all the way to the head. I'm just going to go to this base, to that structure right there, because I've already wrapped the head. So I'm just going to go up. Also, this is an area where I tend to have filler in. What do I mean by filler? It's like I'll tend to put a little bit of aluminum foil in here, and I do mean a little bit. I know a lot of people tend to put a nice big hunk in there, and that's fine, but you got to really be careful, because sometimes you're going to want to kind of dig in there, and you'll find that you'll be hitting aluminum foil, and there's nothing more annoying than that. Spiraling down rather big here, getting to the tail, and then once again using the tail as an anchor point. Just like I did up here, I'm doing the exact same thing in the tail, and then now I'm wrapping down the length of the tail itself. Now, if I want a long, slender tail, I want to really make sure that this is tight, so just make sure that you really kind of crimp that stuff together so that, or when you're wrapping this around, make sure that you pull it nice and tight so that you're not leaving a lot of negative space in there, so that the tail ends up being much more sleek and slender. And then just moving down the length of the tail. Like so, and just like at the top, the head, you want to just kind of Well, in this case, I think I've squeezed it too tight. That's okay. I should have left that. But now I can just kind of roll back. On my way back, I don't need it to be quite as tight. The more you wrap it, the more actual length you use. So just keep in mind that you might not need, especially down here. This is already, I mean, so just by making it nice, big, loose, you know, swoops around the tail, I'm actually using less length because I'm getting a little bit short here and I want to make sure that I have enough for the actual leg itself. It's not like I can't just, you know, get another piece. I'm just kind of thinking ahead and making sure that I've got enough there anyways to be able to take care of that. And almost there. The other leg for the remainder of it. So now I'm just going to snip this right here, like so. Down here, remember I was holding on to that piece. I'm just going to wrap it around like that. I'm just going to use my pliers to really make sure I just wrap that around like so. Got a little piece here, so I'll just put that aside, save that for the future. Now I can kind of look here and see if there's like any kind of big gaps and whatnot. I really don't like that, so that's just me. So just kind of pinch that together, and that makes a big difference overall. So you can see that by the twisting of the fingers and all this twisting, we've really created a lot of surface for the clay to bite onto so that it's actually going to have something to hold on to. So now what I want to do is, let's clear the table here. I want to take a block of wood, and depending where you are, you can actually go and buy scraps. This is just a piece of scrap that we bought. We get them really cheap, and I would say Home Depot, or if you're in Brazil, Leroy Merlin has them. And so what I want to do is I just kind of want to plug these in. Now, I want to think a little bit about what is it? So, because I don't really know where I'm going to go, the first thing that I know that I need to do is I need to kind of separate the legs, because just by that very nature, I create something that's a little bit more dynamic. So, I'm just going to separate the legs a little bit, so that I'm not getting this perfectly centered thing, but I'm getting something that's more on a diagonal, which will make a big difference. And then now I'm just going to kind of scratch the surface here, just so that see that? I've got an inclination of where it is. Here's my drill bit, and just want to I'm going to pull this over here so I don't go through my cabinet. So there we have it. Two holes. And then now, I just plug my guy into my base. So let's have a look at actually creating a pose for our character. But we need to think about what is it that is going to work. So what is it that our character is doing? Is he caught in surprise? Is he being fierce? Is he being, So the first thing I want to do is I actually want to bend this spine here. Now, this is going to take quite a bit of effort, because remember, we've got a very hard piece in here that is our base. So I'm just creating that curve of our character in there. And then now what I want to do is I want to create the curve of the head. So I'm just going to hold this right here. I'm going to create a little bit of curve and then get that happening. So you can see we got something looking a little bit more like a character now. You see that? Now the tail here isn't really working for me. It's too high up and it's really kind of nondescript and it's not really doing anything. So what I want to kind of think about is what I'm thinking about is pose here. So I've got this leg. If this leg is coming down, then I really want to kind of get that leg out like so. And I want to think in terms of dynamics, right? I mean, glue that in. I want to kind of think in terms of dynamics of movement. So what I think I'm going to do is kind of catch this guy in mid-stride so that he's kind of leaning over like so. And then maybe we'll put a little bit of a twist up here so that there's a little bit more of a dynamic range to him. And then maybe we'll get this shoulder up. Kind of get him leaning down a little bit. Get this out, maybe kind of get this tail balancing him. Wrap that around like so. His tail is competing still. I think what I want to do is wrap this tail around like that. I want to kind of get him leaning forward. And you can see by using this stiff wire in here, we can really push the character and it'll retain its sensibilities. So what I'm really after here is movement. I'm looking for movement. I'm looking for balance, beauty. It's a real sense of that it's almost leaving the this kind of space that we've done, and we kind of want to lead the character. And by doing that, we're actually leading the viewer as well. So what I've done is I've kind of I'm leading the viewer down. If this is my block, this is my square, I'm leading the viewer down all corners of it. You know, the piece is leaning towards this. The tail, if you're looking at it from that angle, you're getting the view of the tail. If you're looking at it from this angle, you're getting the view of the hand and the dynamicness of the tail. In fact, let me put this on my Lazy Susan here. And hopefully that will make more sense. So that's it. That's how I go about creating armatures for my sculptures. What I don't allow my armature to do is to dictate where my sculpt is going. I force the armature to do whatever I want it to, and it might not be exactly what I had originally intended. That's one of the things that I love about sculpture is I allow myself when I'm working to breathe. This is really important. It's unbelievable how many times people will get stuck with one particular idea and not allow themselves to break free of that idea and try something new. And so what I would suggest is whatever you're doing, whatever path that you're kind of headed down, head down the path, but be willing to kind of sidestep and go down a different direction, because sometimes that new direction is better than where you originally started. So even though I'm going to leave you with this particular view, there's nothing to say that by the time I finish this guy and actually get clay on him, that this is exactly the pose he's going to be in by the end of it. So thank you very much for joining me. I hope this was informative, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.